First of all, thank you so much, Cory, for giving us the time. We understand you're in the middle of the weight cut. It's got to be a big week for you. This is a huge fight. So first of all, thank you for giving us the time and welcome to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, thank you.
A couple of quick questions for you. And I'm not going to ask the same boring crap. Well, how do you see this fight going? Really, the fight goes the way the fight goes, right? Mm-hmm. You're ranked number, 2, 3 now, if you take out the champ. And you're fighting number 10. So much has been made about, well, nobody wants to fight Umar. And here you walk in and go, I'll take him. What's the logic there? How do you see this from a most fighters not wanting to go down the rankings perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, the first thing is I told the UFC, whoever they want me to fight, if it's not for a title fight, just make it a number 1 contender fight and I'll fight whoever it is. Yeah. That's the name that they gave me. They said that no one else underneath me was taking the fight. So if that's the fight that I got to take to be the champ, then that's the fight that I got to take. It doesn't really matter to me either. Like I kind of live in the world of if you're the best at something, go ahead. I want you to be the best, you know. Yeah. If you're better than me, then go ahead. Like, go be champion. You deserve it more than me if you're better than me. I just don't think that he's better than me. And I think that I get to prove a lot of things on Saturday to people that the odds are crazy to me, that are counting me out. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going into this one with the chip on my shoulder. And yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Does that motivate you coming in as the
underdog? Absolutely. I hate people. So, if I can, no, I'm just kidding. I kind of hate people too. Yeah, I like dogs, man. So the more I can prove them wrong, the more I can prove society wrong, the better. But
I understand.
But yeah, it's motivating, man. Like it's easier to fight when you got a little bit more chip on your shoulder.
There's something behind it, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think it's true that nobody wanted to fight him? I mean, I struggled to think that such a huge name like Umar, big team, very well-rounded fighter, really shiny record. I struggle to believe that nobody in the top 10 wanted to fight him. Do you think there's a truth to that, or is that just something he says?
I struggled to find the truth in anyone not taking the fight in the UFC. To be honest, I know that not everyone is the same. Even amongst the greats, you have people that are greater than the greats. So I understand that people are different, but to me, saying no to a fight feels weird.
It's
like
weird,
that.
Right?
That feels like especially if you say that you want to be champ and all of this, like that's a weird thing to say to me. So, but I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I can't imagine a scenario where that will ever really be the case for me. But I don't know if it is for other people. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Look, I've been following up. I've been following you for years since you've been in the UFC, and it's just crazy to me that somebody as young as you has been in the UFC for so long and has had so many fights. You've recently switched camps to be with Trevor Whitman. Not switched camps, but you've brought Trevor Whitman into the mix. How has that been for you, being under the tutelage of Whitman?
Oh, great. I mean, I'm super impressed with Trevor. Like, not to sound like, like I'm super impressed with him, because Trevor's, got so much more experience and knowledge and wisdom than I do. But man, I didn't really know what I was signing up for. I've known Trevor for a lot of years. I of course heard that he was a great coach, but when I started working with him, I was like, oh man, this guy's like way
Next
better
level.
than expectations. Yeah. So yeah, it's been great. He's fixed a lot of things. A couple things, like it's really nice when you're working on technique, they tell you to do a couple things and it works overnight. Not everything's like that, and he kind of has an eye for picking out those little things that just make things work immediately, which as an athlete is great. You don't have to practice it.
So we're going to see that Whitman jab? Is that the
yeah, you're going to see a lot of things. That, I'm really, I think that going into this fight again and doing a second camp with Trevor, I'm really glad that I got to do that, because he's helped a lot.
Did you do the whole thing in Colorado?
Yep, whole thing in Colorado. Mostly. I trained with Trevor out there. My head coach, Carrington Banks, who's my wrestling coach, who's obviously been super important in making sure that I can wrestle against this guy. And then Ryan Hall, who's in Virginia. I trained with Ryan a decent amount. I think I went out there 3 times this camp. So kind of bouncing between Virginia and then Colorado.
Well, I mean, you're coming down from elevation, right? So you're basically like Superman here right now.
Pretty much. No, seriously. Like, it actually matters. Like, whenever I fight by the ocean, I get really excited, because I'm like, cool, this is going to be way easier than fighting way up in the mountains.
It's basically sanctioned cheating. You're allowed to do it. Just go train at elevation. I've had a bit of experience myself. I used to be a rugby player. Anyway,
nice.
We won't go into that. A couple more questions for you, and I know you're busy, so I do want to let you go. You brought up the wrestling. Mm-hmm. Now, we all know where Umar comes from, what his team was like, blah, 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 you know, the Habib-Islam connection, all the rest of that jazz. You, on the other hand, when we saw you the last fight against Rob Font, we saw a whole new wrinkle in the game. Now, I understand it was because you'd torn the tricep that you said, oh, to hell with this, I'm just going to wrestle this guy. Would that ever be something that you might actually go into this fight thinking, well, you know what, I'm going to actually wrestle him?
Maybe. You know, like, I kind of see MMA as an opportunistic thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really hunt for things more than other things. I kind of just be open, you know, like the whole Bruce Lee philosophy, you know, be like water. I try to approach fights openly. Even with the game plan is a loose, malleable one. Yep. And yeah, I mean, if he messes up and he's giving me takedowns, then I'm going to take the takedowns. Yeah.
I mean, look, recently, I mean, I don't know, we've just had Bilal Muhammad in the region win his welterweight title, right? So right now, MMA is like blowing up in this region, and you're coming into this territory when, you know, everything is really hot, and, you know, this is a bit of a home fight for Umar. Does that play a factor at all for you? Because, you know, it's going to be an Umar crowd, let's face it.
It doesn't feel too much different, you know, like we were both scheduled to fight in Nashville, which would have been my home crowd. Yep. Umar took the fight in Nashville, so I'm more than happy to take it over here. No, I don't. Like the last couple times I fought in Abu Dhabi, everyone was different than the American crowd.
Yeah, of course.
It isn't as like this with the opposition. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about it, man. Like I like fighting at the Etihad Arena.
It's a nice spot.
Yeah, it's a great spot, and yeah, man, I'm just real focused on my performance. I think it's going to be one of the best performances that I ever have, and I think that that's going to happen just because I'm fighting an opponent that's so good and well-rounded. We
really, really look forward to it. I got one last one before I get you out of the way. Figueiredo was in here about 5 minutes ago, and he's gone, this is the #1 contender fight. And I was sat over there and I went, hang on, Davison, you and Cheeto Very, I think. So how do you think that one goes? I mean. And also, I want to ask you, how do you think Merab and O'Malley goes?
Okay, so Figueiredo is definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. No, I mean, you can't deny me after I get this win. No way. And not to mention that Umar is a tougher opponent. You know, like Umar is a very tough opponent. He's very well-rounded, even though he is way down in the rankings. Like, the dude is really good. So. After this one, you can't deny me. O'Malley and Merab, I think that O'Malley is going to leave a lot of space and catch Merab on the inside, probably. But if Merab can get his hands on him enough and tire that guy out, then he'll have a shot at winning.
I agree with you. Thank you so much, Cory, for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.